for her and today is about us two, blah blah blah, and then her girlfriends and boyfriend do some rehearsed dance to their favorite song and then he proposes. If I know her well, she wouldn't mind being proposed to on my wedding day, so it's a lose-lose situation for me. Sometimes I think maybe I should agree and get it over with, but I'm so angry and my fiancé actually doesn't want me to cave this time, since we both were happy with the backyard wedding. We even asked Mom to donate what she had planned on spending on the wedding to the Childhood Cancer Fund, in our names like what we've requested as a wedding gift from our guests, but she insisted on a party for the extended family. I had a back and forth texting with my future brother-in-law, where he called me jealous and bitter. I have now blocked him. He texted my fiancé apologizing, but we didn't answer. My plan now is to get married a week earlier to my grandparents-in-law with 20 guests, because we have managed to change our honeymoon trip booking to be 3 instead of 2 weeks with departure day the morning after the wedding. My mom's wedding is already paid in full with no refund possibilities with such short notice, 3 weeks. That was the whole point, I think. To spring this information on me so close to the wedding date, so I can't really do anything about it. Now they will have 1 week's heads up anyway when they see my wedding pictures on social media. They will probably just turn the wedding into an engagement party and have a blast. So it's a win-win, I hope. Update 1. I really want to thank everyone that showed me support. I'm now happily married and in Como, Italy for my honeymoon. I tried to stay away from my phone, but I was so curious to see my family's reaction to my elopement a week earlier than planned. It was really ugly. I must start with saying that I really tried my best to negotiate and compromise with my family and truly explain that this was hurting me. I have nothing against my sister and nothing against her getting engaged in my wedding, but the principle that it was made very clear to me that I had absolutely no opinion or say in what was going to happen on what's supposed to be my special day was where I drew the line. It wasn't a wish or a request, it was a matter of fact and it was decided. So I told my mom that I'm not going to attend the party she's paid for. Maybe they should just make it an engagement party instead. She got very upset and told me that the engagement was supposed to be a surprise. I told her that I was just giving her the heads up since she's about to lose an insane amount of money. She didn't take me seriously, like I wasn't going to cancel my wedding because of a trivial thing. What she didn't know is that I've already made plans to get married a week earlier to my grandparents-in-law. We invited our closest friends and some even had to book earlier flights and take more vacation days. For these people I was extra grateful. What was left was my sister. I'd been back and forth arguing and negotiating with my parents and FBIL. I decided that even if this would ruin her surprise, I had to tell her, so I did. She wasn't really happy with my mom, but she was more upset that I ruined her surprise, and she, as I expected, thought I could have just sucked it up and gone with the flow. I didn't tell her about my new wedding date. The wedding was dreamlike. In the back of my head I was hurt. The people who loved me the most weren't there, but I pushed that thought away and refused to let it ruin our day. My husband was amazing. He promised to make me happy for the rest of my life and to make up for every heartbreak I've experienced in my past. My in-laws surprised us with upgrading our honeymoon to a 5-star hotel. I had my friends and some cousins and my favorite aunt attending. We asked them not to live stream or upload any pictures to SM until we're already on our honeymoon. We also asked them not to engage in any altercations online with my family. Today my mom made long Facebook, Twitter, Instagram posts bashing me and my husband. Calling me ungrateful and disrespectful with pictures of my wedding. Telling people I've cost her a big chunk of her savings and she's now demanding compensation. Her FB post was shared about 200 times and the majority of my extended family is angry with me. She never once tried to contact me. I really thought she would bombard my phone. Instead, both her and my dad announced that they're cutting me off and are expecting compensation. Future brother-in-law commented that I ruined his surprise, and my sister made a post about being tired of jealous bees and haters. None of the people we invited commented, even though some of them were directly attacked, so they respected our wishes. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and turn the wedding into an engagement party now. I really hope they do so the money isn't wasted. It's on Saturday. I'm sorry the update got too long, but with the amount of people asking for an update, I hope this was what you wanted. P.S. English isn't my native language and it's too long of a post to proofread, especially when it's written on my iPhone. OP confirms that the wedding did end up being a party for her sister. Yes, they did, and they blew the internet with pictures and posts about how magical the night was. Little sister made sure to write about haters not ruining her special day and how she's surrounded by the people that mattered. From what I gathered, about 30 to 40% of the guests that were invited showed up. This means they can't sue me for the wedding, so all is good. Now to the next story, story 2. I overheard my husband say I'm ugly to my friends. Though I've always known I'm unattractive, hearing him confess it shattered me completely. Original post: I am an unattractive woman, objectively. I've always been this way, and while I have accustomed myself to it, it nonetheless remains a daily fact that being an ugly woman sucks. I met my husband 4 years ago and he is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. He has always and frequently told me I'm beautiful, and somehow sounded honest, without sounding like my mother, like someone without another option to answer. Last night, Saturday, he had a group of friends over to our home. They meet several times a month to hang out, catch up and play games. He has known most of these guys since high school. I was upstairs in the kitchen preparing drinks and snacks when and was able to hear them in the basement and began to eavesdrop, which I know was rude, but it wasn't really intentional. I realized they were talking about me. A couple of guys were teasing my husband about me, specifically about my looks. I could tell it was supposed to be funny. It was not. There was a point where one of them referred to me as a troll, and my husband blew up, started shouting. Listen, shut the fuck up. I know that my name is ugly, but shut up. She makes me happy. Does your bimbo of the week do that, Jim? Dave, how long has it been since we've hung out and you haven't bitched about your wife? Not real names. He went on for a while, defending me. But all I could hear was, I know she's ugly, I know she's ugly, I know she's ugly, again and again in my head. It just broke me. I don't know why. I've always known I'm unattractive, but he isn't supposed to. He tells me I'm beautiful so sincerely and consistently I'd started to actually believe he thought that. I started to cry and ran into a shower so no one could hear me. When I came out an hour later, everyone had gone home, far earlier than normal. I went to bed and then haven't spoken to him all day today, but I think I've been able to avoid letting him know I'm upset, or avoiding him. I know rationally that what he said was true and sweet, and that I sound happy he loves me and not my body, but it doesn't seem to matter. I just want to be pretty? God, I feel so shallow. I've been crying all day. What should I say to him? Part of me wants to call him a liar, to scream and yell and cry, while the other part just wants to run away and never have to talk to him again and acknowledge that even the greatest man I will ever meet can't find me attractive. Too long. Didn't read. Overheard my husband admit to friends that I am ugly, even although I knew this to be true already, and the admitting happened in the midst of him explaining how much he loves me. It makes me feel terrible, worthless, and like I lost something I'd waited my whole life for. I'd given up hope I'd ever have a partner who even liked me before I met him. I lost a lottery spectacularly at birth, and my life feels like a big joke, a cycle of humiliation and punishment I did nothing to deserve. I don't even know how to talk to him. Update 1. This one turned out really long. Sorry. First off, I'd just like to say thanks. Just wow. Over the last 2 days I've had literally hundreds of messages, and PMs. You guys rock. Seriously, look at that thread. That's gotta have one of the best positivity and sweetness to meanness and jerks ratios on all of Reddit, like ever. You guys knocked it out of the park for me. I'm still figuring out why. So yesterday, after getting a barrage of support from you guys on my phone every couple minutes nonstop all day, I decided to try and confront my husband over what I'd overheard. After we were both home from work, I told him I needed to talk. I told him I'd overheard him and his friends, and he immediately started to apologize for them, saying they were jerks and assholes and that I should have told him I'd heard. I had to stop him to let me get a word in and tell him it wasn't his friends so much as it was what he said. When I told him what he said, his whole tone changed. I could tell wasn't expecting to be blamed. I had had the whole conversation planned out. I wanted to explain how it made me feel, how I thought he really was attracted to me, and how betrayed it made me feel to hear him behind my back. But I just started to cry, and couldn't really communicate what I wanted to say very well. He was awesome though, and just held me, and then after a minute started to speak like he was reading right out of the nicest comments in the original thread, telling me he was just angry and didn't speak very well. That he really does find me attractive even if the world doesn't, and his friends don't. I calmed down pretty quick. I'd basically cried myself out the day before. He took me to his computer and showed me an email he sent to all of his friends on Sunday. I wish I could copy-paste it now, but he basically called all his friends assholes, said they'd crossed the line from good-natured trash talk to just being assholes, and then continued going far beyond. He said that for time indefinite they'd have to find another host, were no longer welcome in my home. He actually said, "My name's home." I thought that would make it sound like I was ordering him around being a bitch, but he said he just wanted to empathize how wrong what they were doing was. Seeing him stand up for me again made me happy, especially seeing me do it without talking bad about me, helping me believe it really was just a heat of the moment bad word choice. He told me to wait in the room and left, coming back with a folder. He said he was going to give me this for Christmas, but that he'd get me something else. I tried to say no, but he insisted. It was plane tickets and brochures. He set up a trip in early January to this spa hotel resort thing in British Columbia. It was pretty mind-blowing. But I realized that it had to be several $1,000s he'd spent. We budget